All right, boys and girls. Today we are going to talk about society. I know. It's been quite some time since I've made a video, at least like a month or two, but we're making one now. So, we're going to talk about society and human society, but specifically, we're going to talk about human society in the United States because that's where I live. So, that's what my perspective is. Going in the tangent and everywhere else that I don't understand wouldn't really be relevant. But I digress. We're going to talk about human society in the United States. Number one, healthcare. This is just going to be a rant for the record. Healthcare. I don't believe in the concept of paying for healthcare. That's ridiculous to me. And the concept of the United States of turning healthcare into a business is just kind of like abhorrent when I really go into detail and think about it. Selling people health, to me, is just fundamentally wrong. It just goes to show you that like they don't really care about your life. If they believe that healing you should cost money, if they believe that getting you care that you need and deserve should be funded by somebody's paycheck or something, it's just kind of ridiculous. And then if you want to go beyond that, the reason that like so many people have health problems in the United States is because of the stuff that they're literally feeding us. I mean, we don't eat real food in the United States. Anyone who has come here knows that. Anyone who lives here knows that. Like the bread we have, like I think in other countries it's like legally classified as cake because of all the added sugar and whatever. You know, the stuff that they feed you makes you sick, gives you these underlying diseases and all these underlying problems, and then you go to the doctor and then they give you stuff to manage those symptoms, but they never really get to the root of the problem, which is the shit that you're eating, the stuff that you're eating. It's a vicious cycle, but I could go on and on about that. I don't know. There's just so many things I've seen that are wrong to me personally, like, you know, the rampant capitalism and the whole, I don't know, indoctrination of people from birth to just submit to this capitalistic society and just spend and ignore our problems, and just, you know, the whole culture, it's just really lost its soul. And you know, that's across a lot of the world and a lot of different places, but I think it's very prominent in the United States. Anyone that has been here and lives here, they know. But the greater issue that I think with human society is that no one gives a damn. You know what I mean? No one cares about anyone but themselves. No one cares about the greater whole of humanity. It's just a bunch of apex predators all somehow trying to work together while trying to devour each other any chance they can get. There's no love. There's no care for your fellow man. There's no empathy. It's all just soulless antics, or we're all just waiting around for a time to come. I don't know. Maybe I'm just super nihilistic, but I found that it's something I've just kind of resigned from, not because I don't know, bitter. I guess I am a little bitter, but it's more than that. It's more of like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to me to ignore problems that are very apparent, to kind of just go about my day and just kind of like fumble along with everyone and everything and just act like this is all fine, even though it's very much not fine. I see a lot of problems in human society across the world, but like I said, of course, in the United States is what we're talking about here. And I don't know, as time has gone on, as I've gotten older, as I've become more aware, as I've seen more, had all these experiences with all these different places I've been to and all the different people I've met, the same problems persist. It's just unconscious, unaware people, unconsciously following things just because they're told, just because it's what has always been done, just because it's the status quo, just because this, just because that. No one really knows why they're doing what they're doing. No one really asks any questions about why they're doing what they're doing. We all just follow what these higher-ups tell us to do to put more money in their pockets, and we all essentially are slaves. Even the people in the 1%, they're still slaves to their money. Without it, they would crumble and die just like everyone else. Everyone here is a slave. Everyone here is conscripted to something that is not what they want to be doing. There's no such thing as freedom. There's no such thing as love. There's no such thing as compassion. There's no such thing as, you know, pursuing the the higher purpose for humanity. I don't think that this is what we're supposed to be doing. I really don't. That's just my own personal opinion, but I really feel like humanity got lost somewhere along the way, and we just haven't picked ourselves back up. And I see so many things, so many terrible things, so many, really rough and crazy behaviors, so many high-strung personalities that are just begging for healing that they're probably never going to get. And honestly, it's just become too much for me to personally deal with. There are so many people I meet, so many things I witness on a regular daily basis that just really make me sick to my stomach, and not because I don't like them, it's just because these poor people don't know that they need healing. They think this shit is normal. They think it's normal to put poison into their bodies. They think it's normal to use anger as fuel. They think it's normal to not have empathy and compassion for other people. They think it's normal to take out their pain and their trauma on others. They think it's normal to allow a system that thrives off the backbone of other people's suffering. If I'm wrong, then fuck, I'll stay wrong. But I feel like no one is real. No one is really diving into the meat of these problems, and I guess it's kind of out of fear. No one really wants to sit there and talk about the real stuff that needs to get tackled because that stuff is scary. But if we push it all under the rug, if we don't talk about it, if we don't bring it to light, these cycles will continue. These cycles have continued long before me or anyone who was watching this was ever even a thought to be born. Thousands of years humanity has been here on this planet, and we're still doing the same stuff, just with a Gucci bag. You know what I'm saying? We're still killing, we're still murdering, we're still polluting our environment. We haven't grown up at all. Sure, we've made a lot of advancement technologically. Sure, we've improved a couple of things, but humanity has been stagnated since our conception. Emotionally, mentally, we're just not there yet. And it's just really painful to really exist with people who just don't give a damn. The average person is not really there for that. The average person just, there's nothing up there. I'm sorry to say, we're not talking about, the standouts. We're talking about if you just went out to, I don't know, the mall or something, you pick out 20 people, I personally would say 15 out of those 20 people they got nothing going on up there. They got nothing going on out there. Maybe I'm just generalizing, but if you take 20 people, 15 of them have nothing going on up there. 3 of them might kind of have something, but probably not that much. 2 of them might be on their way to something, but only 1 of them is actually going to do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even their fault, because everyone here has been indoctrinated not to really think higher, not to ask their own questions, not to not think, to not feel. We've been conditioned and indoctrinated to not feel, to not think, to be numb, to be a bunch of crash outs, to rely on anger, to rely on the system, to think this stuff is normal, to think drinking poison is normal, to think eating poison is normal, to think that this backbone of this fucked up society is okay. We've been indoctrinated and conditioned to think that everything that is wrong here is okay. And it's not. It's not to me. It's not really to anyone, but there's nothing that anyone wants to do anything about it. And honestly, the more I spent time in the society, growing up, getting older, seeing more and more and more and more every day, how it just has its clutches in these people, it's heartbreaking. And it's just kind of made me super resigned. It's like, I know that not everyone, of course, is like that. Obviously, that's a generalization. I'm not going to discount, however many billions of people, because that's just ridiculous. But the average person, which is what makes up the backbone of society, is just a spiritually dead husk with nothing behind their eyes, no substance, no value, no empathy, no compassion, no thoughts of how they can contribute and make the whole unity better. And by unity, I mean the earth, like, the fish, the plants, the trees, the animals, and the humans. When I'm talking about making the world better, I don't just mean for us. Making it better for us is what we've done this whole time. It's made it worse for everything else on the planet. We need to think bigger than ourselves. We need to think bigger than our individual self. We need to think bigger than just our friends and our families. We need to think bigger than just our country. We need to think bigger than just humanity. We need to be thinking about everything. But it's just not something that people are going to do, and the higher ups just aren't going to make that something that's mainstream, because why would they do that? Why would they want to harmonize the world? They would lose all their money. They would lose all their power. They thrive off war. They thrive off of feeding you poison so that they can sell you a cure. They thrive off of the disharmony. They thrive off of the fear and the negativity that is just constantly here all the time. They wouldn't be able to survive without making a profit off of the suffering of people and life itself. And it's just sick to me. It's just sick. The more I see, the more I witness, the more I experience, the more I really don't feel like any of this is worth participating in. You know, it's like, for the longest time, I really believed I was like, I don't know, missing out. It's like, I was kind of a loser when I was a kid. I didn't really have too many friends. I was super overweight. Didn't have a whole lot going on. And once all that got fixed, more or less, you know, once I lost weight, people actually wanted to talk to me, once I got a little bit more money in my pocket, once I started meeting people because they let me in the room, I realized I wasn't really missing much, because these people were just brain dead. They had nothing going on behind their eyes. It's just, I don't know. This whole thing needs to be redone. It needs to be restarted, reset. I don't know. It's like, am I gonna say humanity is too far gone to be saved? No, I don't believe that. But I think if it's gonna do something that it hasn't done before, it needs to start performing actions that it hasn't done. It needs to start having thoughts that we haven't had. We need to start laying down ground rules on how our society can get better and stay that way, and not let these people strip our souls from us. I don't even know if anyone watching this gives a shit, but if you're like me and you actually do want to see the entire collective get better, it's a problem. It's a major problem. If you look around here, wherever you are, you see the problems. We all see the problems. And ignoring it is not going to make them go away. It'll just make them worse. The reason human society is the way it is right now is because we just simply ignore these problems. All the disparities, all the injustice, all the stuff that has gone on for so many years, we never fixed them. We just pushed them under the rug and said, well, we'll let the next generation handle it or take care of it or blah, 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 blah. While these people continue to mine our souls for energy to fuel their bullshit. The higher ups, the 1%, wherever you want to call them, you know, they're basically demons. They're basically demons wearing human skin, working to strip people of their souls and use them as fuel to power their endless capitalistic machine that prospers off the backbones of the suffering of others. I know that sounds drastic, but it's just true. I don't know. And it sucks being in a system like this, because I mean, what the fuck am I gonna do? I'm just some random dude. I don't have any power. I'm not in the 1%. I can't change the shit. All I can do is just look around and see what's going on. But it really, I don't know, it's been bothering me for quite some time. And lately, especially these past, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, it's just been eating away at me, because I really look around, I just find myself not wanting to participate. I find this not really to be worth my time anymore. I don't know. There's so many things I've witnessed, so many things I've had personally go on in my life to where I really start to wonder, is humanity something I want to be a part of? Is this life something that I really feel like is worth it to me? You know, is participating in this backwards, fucked up society something that's really worth it in the long run? Longevity does not mean a job well done. Sometimes it's best to just cut your losses and call it a day. But I don't know. It's like you can only isolate so much. You need other people to an extent. But when these people are literal demons wearing human skin and you've got nowhere else to turn, what are you supposed to do? You know? There's nowhere for people like me. There's nowhere for forward-thinking people who want harmony and who want empathy and who want cooperation and compassion and truth and love. There's no place for people like me. It's all just fear-based indoctrination, negative behavior, lower vibrational states. This whole place might as well be some kind of metaphysical hell in disguise. If you ask me, I mean, who knows? I don't know. Could be. But, you know, there's only so much that one person can do. I point out these problems, or at least I try to, but, you know, you can only ignore so much. I can only ignore so much until I've just kind of really hit my breaking point where I'm just like, I don't want to be a part of it anymore. I just don't. I don't want to hear these people talk about bullshit. I don't want to hear these people talk about this or talk about that. I want to get to the root of the issues. I want to fix humanity. I don't want to just ignore stuff and slave away and buy stuff on Amazon Prime. I want to get to the roots. I want to, I'm not saying me specifically, but it's like I want us to cure cancer. I want us to solve world hunger. I want us to increase our capacity to live with nature instead of living over top of it. I want more harmony. I want more peace. I want more innovation. I want better for my people, for the planet, for the species. But we're not concerned about better. We're concerned about letting the money flow through our hands and then spending it and then dying and then doing whatever BS. Like, I don't know. It's just a struggle to really go out every day and pretend like I really give a shit, knowing damn well I don't. I stopped caring a long time ago, and pretty much everything I've done has been an attempt to make myself care, but I really don't. I don't care about any of this stuff. All this crazy stuff that goes on, I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less. I really don't. I want to talk about real stuff. I want to talk about real issues. I want to grow the emotional capacity of human beings so that we can stop the spread of fear in our blood, in our society, on our planet. That's not shit that regular people want to talk about. That's not something that your regular person can ever even really understand. If you know, you know. But if it's not talking about real stuff, if it's not talking about real issues, if it's not talking about how to get to the root and the meat of these problems, I really don't give a damn. I really don't give a damn. And unfortunately, it just seems like more and more materialistic fake stuff is just building up day by day by day. It's like, I mean, hell, I'm only 28 years old. I haven't been alive that long, but it's like, I don't know, just random examples, like, the ads on everything. It's just it's becoming so dystopian. And it's funny because, like, we used to read about stuff like that. Used to see videos and movies about this dystopian society that is so, involved in their capitalism and their tech and blah, 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 blah. And I used to laugh at that, but it's very, very, very quickly becoming a very real reality. And that's what's pretty terrifying. I used to joke, oh, the dystopian society and blah, 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 blah. You see those kinds of things, like, but it's real. And that's the scary thing. It's not even coming. It's here now. We're in the baby steps of it. The ads you see tracking your device, this and that. They're sending stuff to your phone. You're having the drones deliver shit to your door. It's just very quickly becoming. It's losing, our society is losing more and more and more of its soul every single day, and no one's doing anything about it. And very soon, we'll all just be a bunch of soulless husks walking around. I don't want that for my people. I don't want that because I know what that leads to. It's only going to lead to more darkness, more destruction, more fear-based behavior. But there ain't really anything that can do. Everyone that participates in it co-signs that behavior. When you strike your hand against your brother, you're co-signing fear. When you choose to have something that happened to you and to take that trauma and impart that on another person through your actions, through hatred, through violence, you are co-signing fear. People don't really understand how to co-sign love because that's not something that's taught. It's not taught in schools. It's not taught in your history books. It's not taught anywhere. It's like people aren't conditioned to believe in unconditional love for other people. We're not taught to love our enemies. We're not taught to become forgiving and to be, compassionate and to try to understand other viewpoints to the best of our ability. We're not taught to play the long game for our entire species and to make sacrifices now that will impart the entire collective in the future. We only think about ourselves, and it's indoctrinated. We're taught to only be thinking about ourselves. How can we get ahead? How can we pull forward? It's not about the whole, it's about the individual, and that's where the problems really lie. It's pretty rough, but it is what it is. And I just personally can't stand to watch the self-destruction that goes on day after day after day after day. It physically pains me to watch other people do things that hurt themselves and others, and they unconsciously have no idea what they're even doing to themselves or to others. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I'm sad. I really am, because I know there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just one person. I can't show them the path of healing. I can't talk to them. I'm not Jesus. it doesn't work like that. All I can do is watch a bunch of human beings be self-destructive and destroy themselves and each other and the planet, and there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it because that's just how the society is set up. It's how it's always been set up. It probably will always be that way. And I don't know. It's just rough. Super rough. But yeah, I have no idea how long this video is, but I just randomly wanted to get that out there. It's just what I've been feeling lately. So it's like, I've done a lot of self-improvement on myself. I won't lie. A lot of development that has taken a lot of difficult work. And it's like, I used to have this notion that if the higher choice was presented to you, if someone could come along and tell you, hey, this is how you can become a better human being. This is how you can, heal your trauma. And this is how you can become more, that's how you can become, I don't know, closer to the spirit of the universe or whatever you want to call it. This is how you can become better. These are the steps to take it. I imagine that everyone would. I, unfortunately, was super naive. I will call myself out. I was super naive. I was super ignorant because I was under the assumption that everyone wanted to be their best version of themselves, that everyone wanted to heal, that everyone wanted to be empathetic, that everyone wanted to overcome their fear-based indoctrination. But I very quickly realized in my naivety and my ignorance, that is not something that everyone's out to do. And once I realized that that's not something that everyone else is out to do, I realized it was doomed to fail, because if we're not all on the same page, it will never work. You can't have someone trying to heal themselves and to not spread trauma while this person over here really doesn't give a single fuck and is super unconscious and is just spreading hate and fear all the time. Those two energies don't match. And once I aligned with the loving energy, I very quickly fell out of the world, because the world is nothing but fear energy. When I made that choice to stick to the path of love, for better or worse, and it's kind of bad right now, when I made that decision to stick to love and to do what it takes to stay on that side, regardless of what happened, it disjointed me from the world, because the world is all fear, all the time, 24/7. So my energy is now directly scraping up against Earth 24/7, all the time. So it makes sense why I feel the way I feel, why I've seen all the stuff, and I just get disgusted now, because when I made that choice, it kicked me out of the loop. You know what I mean? I don't drink, I don't drug, I don't do any of that stuff. I don't eat sugar, because sugar is poison. It's like, I do these things in moderation, but doing it all the time, doing it every day. It's like, am I binge drinking every single day? No, there are people that do. Am I just eating nothing but sugar and cake and drinking soda and doing this and doing that? No, because I care about my body. Too much sugar will kill you, because it disrupts your body and slows it down and leaves you open to who knows what. Drinking, I don't even really need to really talk about drinking. It's like I said, these things aren't bad. Nothing is awful in moderation. But the thing is, these things aren't done in moderation. They're done as like a regular thing. Like, we'll even talk about like fast food. Fast food has zero nutritional value, but it's cheaper than going to the grocery store. I'm pretty sure that's for a reason. So you can eat all your McDonald's, and then that can give you some kind of fucking heart problem, and then they can bill you at the hospital for your heart problem with their health insurance that is made out to be a business. It's a system, it's a cycle, it's built that way on purpose. And when you don't agree with that system, when you protest against it, people protest against you. They're like, why aren't you just doing what everyone else is doing? How come you can't just go along with it? Because this is fucked up. I'm not just gonna go along with stuff that is killing people. I'm not gonna go along with a system that is literally designed to sap your soul from you. I can't do that. I will never do that. Even if it kills me, and it just might someday. But I just can't keep co-signing these awful behaviors I see, these awful behaviors that have made our society so effed up beyond repair. It's what started these wars. It's what keeps these wars going. It's what makes all these things like, murder and like all this stuff possible, because we're sponsoring the behavior. We're sponsoring the thought. We're sponsoring the society that allows it to continue through our action, through our inaction. When you don't say something and you see something bad, that's your fault. It's your personal responsibility. We don't have any personal responsibility. We're just like, oh, we'll leave it to someone else. Someone else will handle it. We have to be the ones to step out and do something about it. But that's the only way it works though is if everyone is doing that, and not everyone's going to do that because it's not taught. That's a choice. You can't make people choose the higher version of themselves. You can't make people choose to sacrifice their life for the betterment of humanity. But if we want humanity to be better as a whole, it requires that choice to be made for that sacrifice to happen. We will never make a better society. We will never overcome our problems. We will never fix all of this so long as we remain selfish and only care about ourselves and our timeline. We can't just think about now. We have to think about 100,000 years from now. We have to think about the future of the planet, the generations that will come after your children's children's children. You know what I'm saying? We can't stop, and we can't stop. We can't keep delaying future consequences to another generation. We have to take those consequences now and say, how is this going to affect people later? How is this going to help people later? What can we do now to ensure that someone who lives 100 years from now will have a better life than we ever did? No one gives a fuck. You're just worried about going to work, talking to your girl, playing your game, drinking with your buddies, doing whatever you're doing for the average person. No one cares about the longevity, the future of the planet. No one cares about how can we make it a better place to live for the animals? How can we stop eating them so often and have more sustainable practices? And how can we build our buildings to work with nature instead of working against it with all these concretes and crazy hazardous materials? No one gives a fuck about any of that. And that's the problem. We don't care about the planet we're living in. We don't care about the bodies that we've been given. We don't care about this beautiful experience that we have that everyone just seems to throw down the toilet because of money or because of this or because of that or because something happened to you and you can't heal it. It's crazy. It's really crazy. But I mean, I know there are people out there who are definitely on the same wavelength that I am, people who would do a lot to try to fix this, who are doing a lot to try to do something, but we need more people. We need an army. We need a unit. We need a whole generation to come together and really wake up and really be conscious and start turning this around. Because if it doesn't happen soon, if it doesn't happen within like the next 100 years, humanity is fucked. I'm gonna tell you now, we're fucked. Yeah, we may not nuke ourselves. Yeah, we may not necessarily go anywhere. I'm not talking about like we're gonna blow ourselves up or anything like that. But if we don't start repairing the stuff now, emotionally, for, energetic reasons, if we don't start working on building a society that puts the betterment of everyone, the betterment of the whole at the forefront, if we don't start building a society that puts the soul first, we will fail eventually. I'm not saying it'll happen in 100 years. I'm not saying it'll happen in 1,000 years, but it won't be able to consistently persist as long as everyone is stepping on everyone else's toes. And that will only happen when we activate our souls and allow them to shine through and allow them to make decisions for us and allow the empathy, that harmony, that cooperation to really bring humanity to its true potential. So long as we keep believing this material bullshit and allowing it to overshadow everything that we know we need to be doing, it will never change. It will never get better. It will always be the same situation as someone rising on the boot steps, whatever analogy, someone stepping over someone else to get ahead. This person got this, but this person has to suffer for it. This person got that, but they had to sacrifice this person for it. We should all be able to live here harmoniously. There's enough resources on this planet for me, you, billions of people, all the animals and etc. to all live comfortably for the rest of our lives. Why are we hoarding it all for one group of people? Why do we have to work so hard just to get these scraps? It's fucked up. We all know it's fucked up. You know it's fucked up. I know it's fucked up. Let's stop lying about it and let's start doing something about it. We're all just lying, pretending that this is okay. And I get it. If you're at the top, you don't want to lose your money. You don't want this to go away. You don't have to give your money to the poor people or whatever. But it's not about that. It's about helping your fellow man. It's about seeing someone as a reflection of yourself, because we're all technically the same being at the same time, acting out this life. What we call life isn't even really life. It's a play. It's a show for our souls to come here and do whatever it is we come to do. And we've all forgotten that anything you do to someone, you are doing to yourself. If you hate someone, you're hating yourself. If you love someone, you're loving yourself. If you're sad for someone, you're sad for yourself. Everything you do to any other person, even the animals, even the plants, you are simply doing it to yourself. So why would you hit someone? Why would you hate someone? Why would you kill someone if you would not want that to be done to you? Would you like it if someone hit you upside your head? Would you like it if someone made you work to death for scrap so that they can get their factory started? Would you like it if someone murdered you because of something really, really dumb? Everything we do is just reflections of ourselves to ourselves. When I'm talking to you, I'm talking to me. When you're talking to me, I'm talking to you. It's the same thing. We're all the same creature, just pretending to be a billion different things. So the fact that we can't work together just really proves that we've forgotten who we are as the one unit that came here to act out its experiences. I know it's getting wonky, but stay with me. Stay with me. You have to know to know. You have to know to know. And if you don't know, well, you need to read it up. Maybe there's a book or something, I don't know. There's a bunch of books over here that I'm looking at, but we can get into that at some other point in time. The point is, me personally, I've gotten to the point where I just can't really participate in society the way I used to, because honestly, society has changed for the worst, in my personal opinion. This is only my personal opinion because it's my personal experience. So you probably have a whole different life you're living. You probably have a whole different experience, but from what I personally have experienced with what it is that I'm trying to do and accomplish, being empathetic, being loving, sponsoring higher choices and higher thoughts, it's not possible right now in the society that I'm living in, because that's just not what the society is sponsoring. It's sponsoring fear, it's sponsoring evil, it's sponsoring worshiping these negative, practically demonic energies. I can't be a part of something like that. If it isolates me from the world, it is what it is. I've accepted that. But I know that I'm not alone, and maybe this is some kind of call to the other people who maybe also rise up and try to do something about this. Because I feel like if we have enough people together, we can do something about it. I don't want humanity to go down that way. We've worked too hard, come too far as a species to let our own hubris, our own evil consume us from the inside out. It can't end that way. You know, I hope it doesn't, but I'm also one person, so who knows. The rant is over. I know this is a super long ass video, completely unedited. There ain't no motherfucking script. I don't care if this shit gets flagged because I'm cursing up a storm in this video, but I really don't care. I just want to get it out there. But that's it for now. I don't know when the next one will be, but I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.